George Crum, The Chip Biography, Chef and Potato Chip Legend, 1824 to 1914. Born George Speck on July 15, 1824, in Saratoga County, New York, to Abraham Speck and Diane Hull. George Crone grew up immersed in the rugged beauty of upstate New York. Of African American and Mohawk heritage, he developed an early connection to the land that would shape his future. As a young man, he would he worked as a hunter, guide, and cook in the Adirondacks, honing skills in both wilderness survival and the culinary arts. These formative years spent over open fires and use rustic kitchens cultivated a natural talent that eventually led him to Moon's Lake House, a prestigious resort in Saratoga Springs, where his genius in the kitchen first gained recognition. It was during this era that Cornelius Vanderbilt, a frequent patron, patron repeatedly called him Chrome, a nickname George untimely adopted as his own, carrying it forward into culinary legend. Chrome's in Malta. Around 1860, Chrome made a bold leap, leaving Moon's Lake House to open his own lakeside restaurant in Malta, New York. For a man of African American and Mohawk heritage, this was an extraordinary act of independence in an era when racial barrels made such entrepreneurship prevalent. His clientele soon included some of the wealthiest families in New York, drawn by word of mouth and Cron's exacting refined standards. They traveled great distance to dine at his table, knowing every dish would meet his uncompromising vision. His signature creation, paper-thin, crispy fried potato slides known as Saratoga chips, became the talk of the region. No visit to his restaurant was complete without a plate of these golden, impossibly delicate crisps that shattered at the lightest touch. Beyond his famous chips, Crome was celebrated as a master of game meats and refined cooking techniques that rivaled any fine dining establishment of the era. His lakeside restaurant thrived for decades, a testament to his brilliance and culinary artistry. The myth, the most famous story begins with a disgruntled dinner, possibly the railroad magnate Cornelius Vanderbilt, who spent his fried potatoes back repeatedly, complaining they were too thick. Frustrated and perhaps defined, Crone sliced the potatoes paper thin, fried them until they curled into golden chips, and showed and showered them with salt, fully expecting outrage instead. Instead, the difficult customer was delighted, and a culinary legend was delighted, and a culinary legend was born. The fact: historians noted that recipes for thin fried potatoes appeared in cookbooks well before Crum's time, meaning he was not the sole inventor. His sister, Kathleen Wicks, also claimed credit for the creation. What remains certain is that Crum perfected the art of the crisp, elevated it into a signature dish, and popularized what would be known as Saratoga chips across the region and beyond. As a man of African American and Mohawk heritage, Crum broke through the rigid racial barriers of 19th century America was not with protest but with sheer, undeniable talent. He commanded the respect of the New York's wealthiest families through the artistry and discipline of his cooking alone. George Crum passed away on July 22nd, 1914, in Malta, New York, but his story endures a powerful testament to creativity and resilience and a transformative power of culinary innovation, a legend that continues to inspire to this day. His Saratoga chips evolved far beyond a regional curiosity, eventually becoming one of America's most beloved foods, the foundation of a multi-billionaire industry that traces its origins directly back to Crum's kitchen and his assistants of perfection. Crum's restaurant thrived for decades along the shores of Saratoga Lake, cementing the area as a culinary destination and inspiring generations of chefs who followed. He proved that excellence and creativity could transcend the limitation society sought to impose. Thank you. Thank you for exploring the remarkable life of George Crum, a story of integrity, courage, culinary mastery, and that deserves to be remembered. If you have questions or would like to recommend further reading on his legacy and the history of American cuisine, I would be delighted to share more.